Welcome to Double D-Fense. I'm Liz.
And I'm Christine.
We're bringing you an all-female perspective on the NHL,
plus the PWHL, college hockey, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us.
It's a double day train. We'll take the seat, talking hockey like it's 1994. Gonna win, I mean red tears. They live in decades-long drought. Podcast blazing loud, hockey all out.
Hi, Christine.
Well, hello. Happy Saturday, right?
Happy Saturday and happy almost start to the New York Rangers hockey season.
Well, we've officially started preseason and we got a game tomorrow. So everyone dressed up and get ready for, all the fun to begin because it's happening now.
It is. We are joined today by Greg, who is a sports stadium enthusiast and sports correspondent with Stadium Journey. Good to see you, Greg. Thanks for jumping on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be on, and hopefully you had a good summer.
I think so. And before we start, I just want to say, I think Greg is responsible for one of Double D-Fense's most proud moments of all time.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that?
So we met Greg because we were down in Florida at Amarant Arena to see the Florida Panthers, and I don't know, I was already going through the security thing, and I'm like taking everything out of my pockets, and all of a sudden Christine was running over to me. She's like, Liz, get over here. I'm like, what?
I still remember you grabbing up all your stuff because you were literally through the detector there. And I was like, because I'm standing there and Greg walks up to me and I don't know if you remember what my reaction was, but I'm kind of a squirrel, so especially when I'm on vacation, enjoying stuff. That's all I want to do, and so I'm literally, I don't even know what I was doing. Was I with people? I don't even know. But yeah, Greg, you kind of walked up and you're like, Are you Double D-Fense? I don't even think I acknowledged you. I think I turned around and I was like, Liz. And then again, you're like, what? Grab your stuff up, gather back, and you came running back out.
Well, it was a very exciting moment for us newbie podcasters. So thank you so much, Greg, and thanks for jumping on with us today. There's so much exciting things happening in like New York Ranger land. So I think let's dive in. Greg, tell us what are you excited for in this upcoming New York Rangers Centennial season?
I guess there's a lot going on. They got the new coach with Mike Sullivan and new captain JT Miller and a couple of additions. I don't know. They're talking very highly of this guy, Scott Morrow, the guy they got in the Keandre Miller trade. So I don't know if he'll make the team, but he'll probably be on the team at some point this year. Maybe he'll make it out of training camp. But all the prognosticators seem to have the Rangers like right on the fringe of making the playoffs. Like some are saying in, some are saying out. I think it's right now it's about 60-40 people saying they're going to make it.
Yeah, that'll change after game one, right? let's start that skepticism right there, because
it starts in the preseason.
I mean, I don't know. Let's see what happens tomorrow. They did. So I did just do a post 5 minutes ago where Drury just did cut down training camp by 13 people. So there's 48 people left. So these are younger kids. It looks like not a surprise where, some were sent, some were cut. And so you can check out our story, for the update on that, as well as the NHL app, for the update on that one. So yeah, to your thing, he's still there, and we're going to kind of see. So there's 48 guys left on the training camp, and we're going to see who stays and who goes, for the start of the season. So, so we're looking at a good, they play tomorrow for their first preseason game. Right. So against the Devils. And I don't know how these games are going to go. I mean, typically they play, rookies. It's just changed so much. We've talked about this in a previous, seasons and stuff. So, do you feel preseason is a good precursor to what we're going to see in, let's say, the first few weeks of the season, or do you think it's just
I think it's
practice.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to gauge. I'd say it's usually more practice, although it's a good chance for some of the younger guys to make the team and show what they got. A guy like Noah Lava, they're talking him up a lot. Like, I don't know if he'll make it, but looks like he looks good so far, and he looked good in the rookie game. So maybe he's a call up at some point if he doesn't make it. And then I guess the other guys getting ready, like Schneider. They're saying I guess he's not going to play any preseason because he's coming off the surgery, so he's probably going to just take it easy and then be ready for game one.
And did you already see Panarin was out with an upper body injury?
I think that just happened. Yeah, so that just happened. So I don't know
They
how
said
bad.
Lafreniere was skating on the line that he took his spot, I guess, today at practice. They need a big year from him. He's a key player this year.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is sort of a make or break year after last year's debacle?
Yeah, I do feel that way. I feel like if he doesn't show a lot of points, he'd probably be traded at the end of the year or something like that. And then he had that great showing the end of the year before, and then the playoffs, he was great. And then last year he started good and then disappeared after that.
Well, they didn't really disappear. They're there, so,
They just
I
kind
know,
of
we always have that
around.
debate going on. I'm always like, look, and we just watched and saw this documentary about a kind of a year in the life of a junior hockey team, which gives a little bit more insight to what players go through, and I'm hoping when it comes out for people to watch that, they find empathy for like how players are, and because that's kind of the way I would see it. And, and we'll see. I agree with you. This is a make or break year. We're looking at contracts are coming up, this year. This is a really pivotal year. So I think to your point too, if any of these guys aren't stepping up, I think we're going to rebuild again. Something's going to happen, So, but we have a lot of pivotal, top players that are, ending contracts. So, it's going to be a good mix of, them playing well to negotiate their contracts. I mean, they're going to want to do that. I think we're going to see that level, pumped up, just because of that,
Right.
everybody wants some money, right? Everyone wants to be.
There's also so much pressure this year. I mean, not only like coming off of what happened last year, but new coach, Centennial season, paying Shesterkin gobs of money. Like there's so much that is riding on this season. And I feel like these guys must be under so much pressure. And just based on the little bit of like rumors that I heard and lines coming out of the locker room just over the course of like the last couple of practices that has been like posted on X and social media, it seems like there's a lot of pressure. Like I think they were talking like, what are your expectations for the season? And I think it was just Shesterkin who was like Stanley Cup, or maybe it was JT Miller. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean that
motivation, that there's a difference, So I think Sullivan, again, I'm glad Sullivan's there. We know, and we got Quinn back. We're starting to see this. You see like they're wearing like no BS, shirt.
I saw the shirt.
That's great. I mean, that's the attitude that they have to take starting getting into it. Because I think with that kind of pressure, especially with like trying to celebrate a centennial year, we also have, historical facts, that people kind of, try to kind of live on, or put all their hope into, where this has happened before, and if all goes well, as history repeats itself in good ways, this will be the good year for us, the best year, So that's where the pressure, I think, comes in. We've seen it. Do you remember, like, when Panarin was getting that, like, point game streak, and then right when he was about ready to break it, you could see him just getting all, like, you could just tell, and then he didn't do it, he didn't break it. He kind of matched it. Right. And we kind of saw that in a couple of their streaks. Like, so 2 years ago, they kind of broke a lot of little, in-house records, and stuff. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that this year too. So I'm excited to kind of see, what kind of things that they can reach and surpass.
So let's chat a little bit about the schedule, especially the away schedule, because Greg, if you don't mind, I would love to hear a little bit more about your passions for stadiums as well as Stadium Journey. So please tell us a little bit about what you do, and then what locations you're excited to see the Rangers at this year.
Right. So I guess, I don't know, a number of years ago, I started taking my son to games, and I think we did Boston first, but we actually did a Canadians Bruins game up at TD Garden. And then from there, I said, let's start doing some Ranger road games. I think we did like Buffalo and Pittsburgh. And we just said, oh, we're going to do like the East Coast. And then as he got older, he's like, oh, let's do the whole country. And I'm like, first I was like, oh, we'll never make it. But now we're about 2/3 of the way through. We have about 10 left. And I said, I guess we can do it, but we're still probably going to need at least 3 more years. And still looking forward to go to like Vegas. I think would be good. You know, I'd love to go there. We hit Toronto last year, so that was a great one. We've been to Montreal, which is a great one. We went to San Jose last year, but I'm going to hit Seattle this year, so that'll be fun. I'd love to get to Utah. I've never even been to the state of Utah. Hopefully spend a couple of days, maybe go hiking or something like that while I'm there. So those are big ones. The only ones on the East Coast I think we have now are Carolina and Ottawa. We're going to do Ottawa in December. And then we got to get out long plane trips after that.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Yeah, Christine,
I don't mind them.
You've been to a lot of You've been to a lot of those places.
I really haven't been to a lot of arenas. You know what's funny is I've never even been to a Devils game, you know, in Jersey.
Oh, Prudential? It's pretty nice, Prudential.
I know. I just haven't been. And you know, I can count up all the times I've been to, you know, to the Garden, and that's for someone who lives here. So, you know, again, I'll be there for the opening game this year. I was there last year for the opening game. We are trying to kind of get more arenas in there, like you are, and I think it's kind of fun. I know it's a journey my son wants to do, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it with you. Well, you know, whenever, but he wants it for the Kings, so.
It is super fun, but as we were talking about before we hit record on this podcast, the Rangers schedule this year is quite frustrating if you want to try to tackle some of these away arenas in like a weekend. They've changed the way that the road trips are sort of broken up. And yes, like even Vegas being on a Tuesday night instead of a Saturday night, like what are the reasons for it?
That's weird. Because we had the one set up, we wanted to go to do Seattle and Vancouver back to back, but then they're going to like, I think Calgary first, then to Vancouver, then back to Edmonton, and then to Seattle. Doesn't make any sense. They're flying back and forth. It doesn't make sense for the teams, no less the fans.
Yeah, last year they did the same thing. So it was 2 years ago when, you know, we were able to kind of really kind of group it up and do Vegas, LA, you know, with the Anaheim Ducks and the LA Kings. For people, and people came out. This is what I really like. I like getting everyone together because they have a chance to come out. So they really lose an opportunity to kind of have people do these road trips, buy tickets to 3 arenas, you know, and watch the team. You know, it never fails. One thing. So with all the arenas you've been to, regardless of the terrible scheduling, and I don't think it's going to get better. You know, how have you seen the New York fan representation in all these places?
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's always like better than we expect usually. There's a few places it was a little light, but then it's almost like we're saying, oh, there's not that many. But when you go to places like Denver and Colorado, there was tons of Ranger fans, and down in Florida there's tons, and California there's a good amount, and where else do we go? I mean, Montreal, people come up from upstate New York and they go up to Montreal and they flood in. It's like crazy.
Toronto, I think in California, when we've been to the games, it's 50% Ranger fans easily.
Yeah, we went 2022. We saw a 2-game trip. You guys were probably at those games, and we saw them play at Anaheim and they won. And then they went to LA and they lost. So it was like a split trip. So like at least we won one. It'd be horrible if we went all the way out and they lost both. Which I don't think has ever happened to us, but I guess at some point it probably will.
I think we tied and lost. I was like, but typically we haven't. Larry, I've gone to a lot of Ranger games when my son was younger, and all I could say is out of all the times I went where he would get everybody to razz me going in, I never really had to do the walk of shame coming out. You know, it's nice. Like, even though we can look back and get the actual data on it, that's what I remember. And that means we prevailed most of the time. It's fine.
Yeah, that Florida playoff game was tough because I remember going out and everybody was screaming and everything. We're like, let's get I don't even think we had coats though because it's like 90 degrees. So get out of here before somebody throws a beer on us.
Yeah.
That was a fun trip though.
Fun trip though, yeah.
because my brother lives down there, and now my daughter moved down there, so I guess I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Florida.
I think the most pressure is going to be on them for the three-peat. So they just unveiled a new scoreboard, I think, so I kind of posted that. So they're putting a little bit of money into their presentations. We're going to see how that goes. I mean, I think they're going to be a little cocky this year and, in trying to get that three-peat going, so hopefully, there's a plan to, get them first, so I don't know when we play them first. But hopefully, let's show them who's boss early.
Yeah. Well, the Winter Classic, I don't think it's the first game, but the Winter Classic is, I think, January 2nd.
Second, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Down in Florida. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The Rangers have done quite well in the outdoor games. So hopefully they keep that streak going.
Yeah. I went to one many years ago against the Devils at Yankee Stadium. It was freezing that day, but the Rangers won easily, and we ended up leaving early in the third period. I never leave early.
I think Florida's probably going to be like 95 degrees. I don't even know how they keep the ice.
Yeah.
They keep the ice going. Like what?
I know they have the game at 8:00. I guess they're trying the best they can, right, to keep some semblance of ice when they.
This will be ambitious.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live game betting, every snap is loaded with your opportunities. Go ahead and download your app for available lines and odds from DraftKings Sportsbook and get them for any of your favorite teams. New customers, this is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until cancels. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms limited time offer. Let's chat about something else. So the Rangers, this is their Centennial season. They have just unveiled their brand new Centennial jersey. Thoughts, comments, suggestions? Do we like it?
I guess it's interesting. I think there were a couple that I thought were pretty cool. I didn't really go over all of them, but I remember there was a couple that seemed nice. And now they're doing all these Centennial nights. Do you see all that? And Sam Rosen is going to be the master of ceremonies at all those nights.
Of course he is. Like, who would he? So this is the the original jersey that they're kind of bringing back. I kind of put a feeler out for it, and I didn't get anybody that didn't like it. I did get a couple of people that were like, they thought it would be different, but everybody, is looking like they really do like these jerseys. My child has approved as well. I'm getting one because I love it actually. So
I love it too. They are not cheap. They're running $295 each. If you can fit into a youth one, it's $175. But these are crazy prices. I mean, I get it. It's MSG, it's New York Rangers, but holy cow! Between that and like the cost of like opening day tickets. need a second job to support the New York Rangers habit these days.
Hey, it's like that everywhere. Wait till the Rangers come to play the Ducks. So we've seen a lot of these ticket prices because we've had in talking about the last couple of years. We had I think to win quick, kind of came back for the first time. The Kings tickets were crazy. And then the next year, Ducks tickets are usually really cheap. You can get really close. It's a small arena. And then they were kind of pumped up crazy because Trouba was there, the next year. And now forget about it. I'm gonna get us tickets like soon, Liz, so we have them because it's only gonna get worse. So
if they keep taking Rangers players, they're
I know
drive the prices all the way up. Greg, have you been out to see you've been out to see the Ducks, right?
Yeah, I've gotten to see Ducks, the Kings, and last year I got to see the Sharks. So I've covered California, and I got to get to Utah and Vegas and Vancouver at some point.
So, and the Ducks are in the midst of rebuilding the whole area. I don't think they're changing the arena, but they're rebuilding the area like right next to the arena that I guess will have shops and restaurants. I think it's going to have a whole like new section of the area. So I'm sure once that's in place, the prices will go up again too.
Yeah, they're constructing a huge, and hopefully that's done because it's been last 2 years. It's been crazy just trying to get there. You typically
try to park.
We park across the way near Angel Stadium and then Uber it over. And then if I give directions, we take the long way. It doesn't work. So I don't do that anymore. And actually, they have shuttles. We learned too that they have shuttles that go back and forth. It's a crazy, but they're building this huge parking structure. The one thing I liked, and so I'm going to kind of go in this. The one thing I liked about Honda, Center was that you could park like right outside, and then it was, a 1 minute walk, to the arena. And now that's all been closed off. And, and so they're building a bigger parking structure, to accommodate everybody. And that was the one thing I liked about the arena. And so when I kind of go to different arenas, I kind of have it in my head, a couple of things like ease of parking, things to do, in the area, the cost of, things within the arena, which out of all the ones you've been to, do you have like, we're going to take Madison Square Garden out of it because that's biased opinion, but, do you have any other favorites that kind of, that you enjoyed kind of going to because, and for what reason did you like them?
Right. I always love the atmosphere in Montreal because they really get into it. They go crazy and everything. So that's always a good place. I mean, Boston's good because they're pretty into it too. We got to see Toronto last year, and my son said he thought that was the second loudest after Montreal. So he's probably right. And then it's fun when I get to go and review them because I'm going to review, was it Ottawa and Seattle this year? So you can read my reviews in Stadium Journey.
And when you're reviewing, what's the criteria that you're using to do the review?
Yeah, they have a 1 through 5 scale, and we do everything. We do like access, atmosphere, neighborhood, stuff like that. Return on investment, which one of the editors was saying, I don't think any of these things can get any better than a 3. He said they're probably 1, 2, or 3. He says, how can you give return on investment 4 or 5 for any of these NHL venues these days with how expensive?
And a beer is $20. That's
like UBS, I went with my son last year, and I thought the arena is beautiful, but I thought the prices were almost the same for food as like Madison Square Garden. But they did have all these little restaurants and special tacos and birria tacos, and I was like, wow, they have a lot of choices, which is great. But the price is really outrageous unless you just want a pretzel and a hot dog.
Look, you've been to, you were there with us at Emerald Arena, where I think if they have the opportunity to just kind of really kind of build up and put it more as an entertainment kind of structure. There they have a bar with bands inside. Honda Center has the same thing. They have a brewery inside. They kind of have bands that will come in there, and and we're kind of seeing that. Like Vegas was like that, and then the Kings started to do like they kind of
they're all kind of doing
copy a lot of people. So, and they kind of copied Vegas's kind of style, like when we were at one of the Vegas games. I mean, Vegas is great. but they, I mean, there's things to rate. You kind of feel like cattle when you're trying to get out because they really only have one exit, to get out, which that's not good.
Yeah.
So, but it's a fun, and like I think 2 years ago when we had everybody going, Liz, it was like the loudest rave disco ever. And it
Well,
was
it's
so
Vegas, so
crazy.
it's a show and a hockey game at the same time. But
Yeah.
Vegas is great because there's like a big bar that's like a hockey bar just adjacent to the arena. It's easy to get to if you stay at one of the hotels that's like right there. Like that part was really fun. But yeah, I mean the prices are not cheap. And like Christine was saying, that part getting out was a little bit claustrophobic, I would say, leaving T-Mobile. What do you think about crypto.com, the AKA formerly known as Staples Center?
Oh yeah, when I was there, 2022, I don't know, I wasn't that impressed with it. It wasn't really one of my favorites. Maybe, I don't know, hopefully not just because the Rangers lost that night. But I mean, we had a decent seat behind the goal, but I don't know, it didn't seem, they had the stuff outside you could look at, right? There's all the statues and stuff. We took pictures of that, but I didn't think it was as special as I was hoping for.
Well, they've changed it since then. So when you have a chance to do that, you'll see,
go back.
yeah, they've kind of created, they've kind of conformed it more to Vegas, where they have like a platform and they have a band playing, and they,
exactly, yeah.
And then they've kind of added in like more of a not a scoreboard, but a bigger viewing screen, so to kind of make it more exciting. And they've kind of changed outside a little bit too, to kind of Vegas, you can drink, up there, and like they have this huge, outdoor area where they're selling beers right outside. Again, they'll have bands. So, they're attracting all these people in and around. And I think, we're not even at a level where we see on TV that Canada does. Canada has people that they have people that, show up without tickets just to hang outside. I've always been impressed with this. It's not just Montreal. It's not just Toronto. It's the Oilers. It's everybody. And we're talking hundreds of people just go and they stand there like, shoulder to shoulder during playoffs. And they're there throughout the year too. Not needing tickets. We did interview and had, some young ladies on the show out of Toronto where they kind of went and they were giving away things, and they were giving away seats, and, and they won some seats inside, which were great.
They were picked right out of the crowd because I guess they had the most, they were, I guess, as energetic as more energetic than everybody else. So they wound up getting to go watch a playoff game.
Yeah.
Wild.
And close seats too. So, so that's exciting. And I think, I don't know if like, as you're traveling around and kind of rating these things, if you're seeing any like difference, have you, since, I don't know how long you've been doing it for, but are you seeing a difference in like them trying to kind of amp up, the involvement inside and outside too?
Right. Yeah, I think they are doing that. They're amping that up and changing that. And what is it? The other thing, like bars everywhere in the stadium. It used to be like you just get beer, and now you don't walk more than 20 feet and you see another bar. People ordering cocktails and margaritas and everything. And you're like, wow, they're not just buying beer anymore. And they're all sitting down for daiquiris and stuff. And you're like,
I know. I'm gonna go get my espresso martini there.
And the food is getting better and better. I rate my arenas on whether or not I can get sushi at the arena. And there's a lot of places you can now. Definitely Honda Center, definitely up in San Jose. San Jose had like a decent food menu for an arena, although that arena is a little bit odd. That whole city is odd.
I heard they're going to renovate that. They finally agreed, I guess, in the next few years, they're going to update it, because it does look kind of old and dated when you go in there, because I was there in March, so not long ago.
Yeah, and the city is a little odd. Like, I mean, no offense to anybody who is from San Jose, but like the city is strange. There's one street that you can kind of like bar hop at, but it's not super close to the arena itself, but it's not far. It's just a weird city.
There was nowhere to park there. We got there, and we didn't get there that late. I think we got there about 35 minutes before the game. And every guy's like, every lot is full. I guess you had to park all the way down by those big lots and then walk all the way back. There's one little lot, and they squeezed our car into this little tiny spot right across from the arena because we were starting to get late. We wanted to get in. I wasn't writing the review, but I wanted to see it since it was my first time there. I don't know if I'll ever be back. St. Louis was cool, yeah. The what's the one?
nice
in Nashville, Bridgestone is really good if you guys have been there.
Okay, well, quick,
Yeah.
just rub it in there, Greg.
That's a bucket
We
list
keep
one. But
trying.
again,
The
the
atmosphere is
schedule.
great because they have like the band playing outside, and then inside in between periods they play the country music, and the
That sounds
mascot like
great.
rappels down on the ice, and the crowd gets pretty loud.
Liz.
I know, but the schedule is terrible this year. The schedule, if you want to go to away Rangers games this year, the schedule is terrible. Nobody consulted us before they chose these dates and these locations. Everything like fun is like around a holiday where we were just talking about that, Greg. Like you have to travel like during Christmas, and nobody wants to do that. I mean, very frustrating.
My friend, my son and I, we really wanted to go, and actually I have a friend that lives in Nashville. He got transferred from Stanford. He works for UBS, and we could stay with him, and then we were all set to do it. And then we saw December 21st. We're like, we can't go then right before Christmas, and the flights are going to be horrible, and the airports are crazy, and I want to take time off after Christmas, not before Christmas, so we'll have to wait on that one.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll probably have, I think, you know what, Liz, we might have to hit up Utah. I don't know. That might be an easy one. We haven't looked at that one.
That would be fun. Greg, do you think you're going to get out to Utah at some point in the next season?
Yeah, I'd love to go out there. I won't make it this year. Whatever the time was, it wasn't good. But then I want to go to like Bryce Canyon or something, combine it with that. So stay maybe a couple
Yeah.
days.
Well, before we wrap up, what are the predictions for the season? I have to ask. I know we haven't even technically started, but where are we thinking?
I'm going to say the Rangers make the playoffs as a wild card. So I guess probably 4th place in the division.
Faith in them. You have to have a little bit more faith in that.
They might be the last wild card or the second. Unless
Don't
they
put
can
that
beat out
pressure
the
on there.
Capitals.
I hate that kind of anxiety. I think they'll be a little stronger than that.
Hopefully they make it, right? I guess
But
they
I
spent
think
all
we're going to see a lot of focus on some other things too, especially out here. So one of the things too that came in this week is Anze Kopitar has announced his retirement.
That's right.
Matthew already got his tickets to the final game. And so I think, again, and it's not just the Rangers like Panarin, which there's going to be a focus on him too with his contract ending, but we're seeing a lot of that, too with other players, with other teams. So I think again, there's going to be this individual pressure on a lot of these teams and a lot of players on these teams to kind of do that. Look, some people we're starting tomorrow, and there's some people that haven't even signed contracts yet. So we still have open contracts with other teams that have to get done pretty soon. We're starting in less than 2 weeks, so so we're going to kind of see that. And I have a feeling we're going to kind of, I don't know if there's going to be surprises. But again, when you're talking, these contracts are coming up, they're either going to want more money. There's going to be a trade, again, I always say it's a business. So the players are more commodities to the owners and the GMs. And, you could play really well, but then you become more valuable, too. So it's a weird phase, I think, for a lot of players to be in a lot of teams. And we're going to kind of see that play throughout, this season. I'm hoping we stave off any injuries anytime, within the first, 2-3 months. And then we're going to have this big break too for the Olympics. Right. Yeah. So that's always a key thing too, because you get everybody in a good momentum. And then, and that's usually when we're the best. We're like, we got a good minute. Okay, we're going to hang out and stop for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to bring you back, And so, so we're going to, see that too. And that's going to be a little bit of a different vibe, this season too. I think there's pressure from our own team and GM and ownership just to kind of represent this year really well, So I think that goes, Liz, to your point about the pressure on the team, to end in a good standing and to show that they've done their best. And if that's their best, it's their best, So bottom line is I can't wait, and I'm going to be there. So I'll be there to greet everybody. On the 7th, I'll be there chanting and rooting for everybody wherever I am in that arena. But it'll be a great start to the season. They're wearing, they have 10 games that they're wearing those, their Centennial jerseys. They'll be celebrating well. We have a few friends that are going to be putting out some good information. We're going to try to kind of dive into some historical facts this year, so it'll be fun. And then you're going to travel around and give us some good advice on, on some of these other arenas, because that's, Liz and I have that in our goal too. If the schedule just works out, we, that's our goal too, to be hitting up something new, each year, so.
Yeah, Greg, we'll have to have you on once you've gotten a chance to travel a little bit and get the full report.
Yeah, we'll give you a little mini summary of like ratings and stuff, and so.
It's always great when we go on the road, because we always meet Ranger fans wherever we are, that's on the plane or at the hotel or out to dinner or somewhere, and people come up to us and they see my son or us wearing Ranger hat, and they're like, in Denver, I think some guy stopped us on the street and he said, I used to live in Rockland County and I moved here and I'm still a Rangers fan. We're talking to him and everything. Or people like talking to him and they say, let's go Rangers, as they drive by.
That's why you need to drive. You have to be wearing the outfit when you're traveling to the games.
We had the pilot on the way to Florida, just wrapped around our little finger. The pilot loved us. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy, but it was really super fun. So that was good. And I think that's the best part of traveling around is really meeting the different people. I think it's funny because living out here, all the Ranger fans come out, but then they all go away, and I'm like, where'd you go? I'm like, stay, hang out with us for a while. And so we have to try to catch them, like, and kind of rope them in so we can do other things, because we've been trying to kind of build up and kind of, find places where we can watch it and kind of get a little bit of a, following our group that'll, kind of participate and join in, with just other Ranger fans, which would be really fun to do. So, but they're hard to catch. So slow down, everybody.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of Double D-Fense. Greg, we will link to your blog in the show notes. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will have you back on for sure later in the season.
Yeah, take care. Have a good one. Enjoy the season or the beginning.
Yay! Let's go.
Go Rangers.